Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Falcon Update live on YBTV. I'm Emma Dingus.
And I'm Rosie Schiano. We're going to go live to Keli Ganey in Hostetter Chapel where Lisa McNair is speaking. Kelly?
Thanks, ladies. I'm here in Hostetter Chapel where civil rights activist Lisa McNair is giving a small lecture and holding a book signing afterwards. She published her first book, Dear Denise, Letters to the Sister I Never Knew, this past September. Students and faculty members are here to talk to her after her presentation. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kelly. Messiah hosted their annual 2022 American Democracy Lecture with Michael Dobbs. The presidential crisis historian, Dobbs lectured on historic events from the Cold War and World War II. He was written about these events in 6 novels, the most recent being King Richard, Nixon, and the Watergate American Tragedy, which was named by New York Times critics as the top book of 2021. Be sure to check it out from Murray Library in the near future.
Messiah University's Human Rights Awareness Club partnered with local organization Greenlight Operation, which works to educate the public about human trafficking. The discussion, hosted by the HRA, aimed to educate students about the common misconceptions on trafficking, as well as other advice to help prevent it. Here's Keli Ganey with more on the event.
Messiah's HRA recently held a discussion about the misconceptions of human trafficking.
There's this narrative about human trafficking and what that looks like, and this idea of it being, mostly abductions or very removed from people's lives.
Jordan Pine, a Messiah alum, founded Greenlight Operations to combat human trafficking.
For me, my passion for combating trafficking started before I came to Messiah. I truly believe young people in this generation are change makers. They're not afraid of using their voices and speaking up.
Sometimes we talk about the Messiah bubble, and we talk about our lives as though they're paused while we're at Messiah, and then somehow they pick up and move on and go into reality once we leave.
Knowing that PA is one of the top, fluctuates within the top 10 states for trafficking, we believe students should have tools and be aware of the realities of it, even though that's really heavy, and we're aware that that's heavy.
One of the benefits of talking about human trafficking at Messiah is to integrate. It's actually to say, this isn't an isolated part of your life. It's not a bubble. People come here having experiences that are troubling. People return on breaks to families that are unhealthy, problematic, and troubling.
But it's important because students can do something.
We can all make a difference. So whether that's using our voice, getting involved in volunteering, or continuing to raise awareness and education, we all have a part to play in freedom.
Jordan encourages all to follow these steps if you see signs of human trafficking.
Contact the police, call the National Human Trafficking Hotline, and if you are a mandated reporter and it involves a minor, contact Childline.
For YBTV, I'm Keli Ganey.
The University Department of Communication hosted its annual Culture Connect lecture in Hostetter Chapel. National Public Radio award-winning newscaster Corva Coleman spoke about the complex world that surrounds news and journalism today, on the importance of student journalism, and preparing the future journalists in the room. Students had the opportunity to ask Coleman questions during a Q&A period, and a small reception was held after the lecture for anyone who attended.
During chapel, students heard from university's very own President Kim Phipps. They heard her story and she answered questions about her background, experience as president, spiritual mentors, and faith formation. At the end of the panel, she also took questions from students in the audience. Kim Phipps hopes that the students gain inspiration from her story and deepen their faith through her testimony. The chapel was an opportunity for Messiah students to hear more from President Phipps and learn about who she really is.
The Contemporary Music Center is a study-away program for college students that offers them a chance to break into the music industry. Messiah hosted the CMC as their first performance on the tour this semester. Performances range from heavy metal to indie pop.
SAB held an Election Day pop-up table outside the Agape Center. They provided snacks, warm drinks, and I voted stickers to celebrate Election Day and the right to vote. Their goal was to ensure that every student got a sticker, regardless if they were able to vote in person.
The History Club hosted a genealogy night where members of the club had the chance to look up their family history. Dr. Huffman helped lead the members of the club in their hopes to dig deeper into their backgrounds. They had access to websites such as Ancestry.com and newspaper.com to do research. If you are interested in becoming a member of the History Club, search MU History Club on Instagram to learn more.
The Asian Student Association hosted their Diwali dance in the Union on Friday night. Students who came out learned about Asian culture through food and dance and posters created by the Asian Student Association. Everyone who came out enjoyed a fun night with lots of dancing and socializing for the Messiah community.
This past Saturday, SAB held a jazz club in the Larson Student Union, where people enjoyed being served mocktinis and an assortment of foods while being accompanied by some smooth jazz. Hannah Pavel played the saxophone, had this to say how they got to play for this event.
We were just approached by Alyssa from SAB asking to kind of put together a group for the jazz club event. And then it was kind of a last minute thing. Our first rehearsal was actually this afternoon. So I think it all came together pretty well for the event tonight.
Groove, the music department hosted a faculty jazz concert. The concert gave students the opportunity to see their professors perform professionally. Professors Kirk Reese and Gavin Horning talk more about the concert and what it means to perform for their students.
We put our heads together and came up with a list of tunes that we thought would play to our strengths and we thought would maybe keep people interested. We thought it would be something cool to bring to the table.
Our students often don't see us in the role of artist. They see us in the role of teacher. So this was cool that they'd get that. This is what these guys actually do. I definitely think jazz in particular should be experienced live, where you see the interaction between the musicians. The greatest metaphor for what jazz musicians in particular do, because it's not scripted, is it's like a conversation.
The music kind of happens. It sounds maybe like magic, but it does. Like tonight, I feel like I barely played mentally.
Same.
I feel like I barely played, and because the sound around me was so good and the music was so interesting that it just came out. I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to think about a thing that I played.
Let's do this again.
Of course.
And ideally, you know, students being inspired to play this music or listen to it if they're not players. It'll happen again in some capacity.
Every month, SAB hosts Coffee House, where students are able to share their talent with Messiah community. For the last Coffee House this semester, Alana Deal sang Turtles All the Way Down. This was Deal's last performance as a Messiah student. She wanted to make it count.
A lot of the lyrics resonated with me. Like, I've dealt with mental illness before, and one of my biggest fears is that it's gonna affect my relationship. I'm engaged, so. A lot of the lyrics resonated.
Make sure to keep an eye out for Coffee House dates next semester. And coming up, we have a new segment for you to feast your eyes on.
And a Falcon forecast that is a little colder than what we're used to.
Don't go anywhere just yet. Falcon Update will be right back on YBTV.
Hi, my name is Sydney White. I'm interning at the Penn State College of Medicine in a neuroscience lab where we look at understanding the brain through stress, diet, and drug use in mouse models. Come see my presentation at the Career and Community Showcase.
Welcome back to Falcon Update, live on YBTV. YBTV is highlighting the many student food groups on campus with the new segment, Feeding the Falcon. This week, we're looking at the freshman TikTok account, the Lottie Nelson Feasters. Take a look.
Every year, the Messiah community sees an influx of food-related accounts on social media. This week's Feeding the Falcon highlights the Lottie Nelson Feasters, a group of freshmen that post their ventures on TikTok.
So basically, on Wednesdays, Jamie, Liam, and I have classes all the way up until 4 o'clock. And then that first week that we had an in-person lab, we came straight to Lottie afterwards and just ate as much food as we can. First meal, chicken parm. That's what we got here today, right? After that, we said we should make this like a weekly thing, and that's what we did. It is me, Michael Miller, we got Jamie Ogburn, and Liam McGovern.
The stakes are high for this ambitious TikTok group, and that is what they say sets them apart from other meal accounts on campus.
None of them eat as much as we do. Literally none of them. You know, we put stakes in the game. They don't have. They just make TikToks and videos reviewing the food. We review the food. We eat as much of the food as possible, no matter the taste.
I eat a lot of food here on Wednesdays. Because these guys drive me into it, and we happen to be in the same 2 classes, and we tend to like to starve ourselves and then consume way too much food. Heinous amounts of food. That's right.
They shoot, edit, and post their TikToks all within the 2-hour period of their feast.
10 minutes. We just overview the video, cut out parts that are kind of redundant.
Add classical music?
Yep, and we add classical music, and then we pretty much...
We put heart, we put soul, we put emotion into it. We come out here every day, we put our bodies on the line. Not every day, every Wednesday. We put our bodies on the line.
For YBTV, I'm Marie Miller. Stay hungry, Messiah.
Wonder what exactly a team manager does? Well, this week's Bird's Eye View, Caleb Kukin went to a men's basketball practice to find out.
I'm Caleb Kukin, and for this week's Bird's Eye View, we're seeing what it's like to be a basketball team manager.
What's up, guys? I'm Sam Erickson, and I'm the men's basketball team manager.
Hey, finish that!
So one of my responsibilities is doing the clock, whether that's game clock, shot clock, taking score for drills like this. Where we're doing shooting series. So this is how it starts. I get it out of our equipment closet right here, and then I'm about to plug it in and get it all set up, get it all rigged up. Home games, I'm with the guys on the court here, hanging out. You'll see me make a quick sprint, exit out one of these doors. You'll see me up on the track here, and I film all of our games, home games, and some away games. Really playing your role on this team is what makes it successful. You can't come in here all mopey and not willing to give it 100%, not willing to work hard. Yeah, so at the end of practice, I make sure everything's put away. I put the clock away. Some days I'm not really feeling it. I'll stay in here and shoot around with the guys, just hanging out. Take the ball rack back, whatever needs to be done. Yeah, that's really it. That's the day in the life.
We're in the middle of November, which means some students are beginning to show a little Christmas spirit. Let's go to Jessica Fannin with this week's Falcon on the Street.
Hi, welcome back to this week's Falcon on the Street at YBTV Messiah University. I'm this week's reporter, Jessica Fannin. This week, we're asking students, when do they start listening to Christmas music and why?
I think the right time to listen to Christmas music is after Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving should be a holiday by itself and Christmas could start after that.
I listen to Christmas music after Thanksgiving because I like to have the whole time set apart just for Christmas and not distracted by Thanksgiving.
December 1st.
December 1st as well.
Anytime before that it's too early.
Me personally, I like to listen to Christmas music
around Thanksgiving. Like, especially when we're eating Thanksgiving dinner, it's a really nice time, really sets the mood listening to Christmas music. So there you go.
I start listening to Christmas music not right after Halloween, but definitely before Thanksgiving. Why? Just because it puts me in a really good mood, and I think that we should have more time to celebrate it than just a month.
So the best time and the only time you can listen to Christmas music is after Thanksgiving. First Sunday after Thanksgiving, only time you can listen to Christmas music.
That's it for this week's Falcon on the Street with YBTV. I'm Jessica Fannin.
Thanks, Jessica. Speaking of Christmas, the weather this week is looking a lot like winter. Here's Danny Johnson with this week's Falcon forecast.
Thanks, Emma. Welcome back to this week's Falcon forecast. I'm Danny Johnson. We are now in the middle of November, and we are starting to see some very low temperatures on a daily basis. Right now, we are currently sitting at 42 degrees and will drop down to low 30s overnight. Tomorrow, we have a high of 43 and a low of 29 with a 70% chance of showers. With winter making its move on fall, we may see a light scatter of snowfall tomorrow, but don't get too excited. Wednesday is looking a little warmer than Tuesday with a high of 49 and a low of 35. Thursday, we will have a high of 44 and a low of 31. But Friday is when we see the temperatures drop. The high will be 39 with a low of 27. On Saturday, we are looking at a high of 38 and a low of 24. And then on Sunday, we will have a high of 39 and a low of 23. As we prepare for these cold, very cold temperatures ahead, make sure to bundle up and stay warm, Falcons. For YBTV, I'm Danny Johnson.
Thanks, Danny. Let's go to Keli Ganey for our weekly dose of history.
Welcome back to the Vault, where I unlock Messiah's history 1 week at a time. I'm your host, Keli Ganey. Born in Canada, our 7th president, Rodney J. Sawatsky, would be president of Messiah from 1994 to 2004. Sawatsky held 2 master's degrees and a PhD in American religious history from Princeton University. Sawatsky's life work was to develop a Christ-centered identity for college. He was the first to divide Messiah into 5 different academic schools, each with their own dean. He launched the Harrisburg Institute program that linked urban life with service and research. He opened the Agape Center on campus and started a campaign to enhance the science programs here at Messiah. He secured Messiah a $2 million grant to help better equip students explore their Christian vocation in both their personal and professional lives. One of his largest builds was the creation of Boyer Hall, which was named after Messiah's most distinguished alumni, Ernest L. Boyer. The building was constructed to facilitate programs based on Boyer's concepts and contributions and would host the Honors College. Sawatsky highly encouraged students to study internationally to better understand and help reconcile with our broken world. Sawatsky's failing health would force him to retire in 2004, and after a decade of loyal service, he would pass away in December of the same year. That concludes our memory lane here on Past Presidents. Next week, we dive into our current president, KP, and the impact she has made here on campus.
Keli, coming up after the break are sports highlights with the Falcon 4.
We'll be right back with more Falcon Update after this.
The new athletic training curriculum at Messiah College is a 5-year accelerated program that results in completion of a bachelor's in applied health science with a concentration in pre-athletic training and a master's of science in athletic training.
When I was introduced to the athletic training program at Messiah, I knew right away that it was going to be the right fit for me. There was just so much support and so much interest in me as an individual, and that community was really something special.
I think a student should be interested in studying this program, particularly at Messiah, largely because of the people that we have. Students are going to formally participate in case studies and case reviews, and there's also opportunities for collaboration with the faculty.
My friendship with the program director, Dr. Matt Lewis, has supported my journey as a Christian, as an athletic trainer, and as a scientist.
We are passionate about our students, and we're also passionate about the profession of athletic training.
A student would want to study the finance major here at Messiah for several reasons. Students here are working and practicing in a setting in our finance lab with technology that they're going to use when they leave here and work in the field. And so our students are certified in Bloomberg. In addition, in several classes, our students are actually performing consulting projects with local financial and investing firms.
I think the biggest thing that surprised me about coming for the finance major here was just the scope that you get in all the different classes. So anything from corporate finance to portfolio management and security analysis, you touch on everything. Getting into investment club was something I really was looking forward to coming here to Messiah. I knew from very early on I wanted to get involved.
There's nothing wrong with going out, being successful, making money, but not allowing money to have a higher place in your life than God. So our goal is to get our students started off on their career path quicker and better positioned than any of their peers.
Welcome back to Falcon Update live on YBTV. I'm Caleb Kukin.
And I'm Jorge Zambrano, here to bring you a recap of Messiah sports this past week. The Falcons had 2 cross-country athletes that will be running in the NCAA Cross-Country Championship on November 19th in East Landing, Michigan. Logan Horse will compete for a 2nd straight season, and Andrew Hutchinson will be making his first appearance.
The women's soccer team's tournament run is still alive after a 1-0 win over Wesleyan, after Corinne Kovac scored on a penalty kick in the 72nd minute. The Falcons advanced to their 20th Sweet 16 in program history, where they will battle the Emory Eagles on Saturday. The last time these teams faced off was in the 2012 National Championship, where Messiah came out on top 1-0.
Unfortunately, 2 tournament runs were cut short this past week. The men's soccer team's magical season was over after Williams advanced in a shootout after a scoreless regulation and overtime. Messiah's outshot Williams 14-3, but were unable to find the back of the net. Field hockey was also defeated in the Elite Eight by Rowan. Rowan started off the game with 3 unanswered goals, and the Falcons were unable to overcome the deficit, losing the game 3-1.
Now is the time of year when a lot of Messiah's fall sports are starting to come to an end. But that means winter sports are beginning their seasons. I had the chance to sit down with Messiah men's basketball coach Rick Van Pelt and talk about this upcoming basketball season.
Messiah men's basketball is back, and Coach Van Pelt is looking forward to this season.
We're excited about the year. We have a lot of returners, but we have some really key new folks as well on the team. So we have high expectations, but at the same time, we understand the season is a process. I mean, our goal is to win our conference championship every year. That's our goal. It's not our purpose. Our purpose is, to play in a way that honors God through the way that we compete.
Even with a lot of new faces, Messiah isn't going to change up their usual style of play.
My personal philosophy is that it takes more than a year to really get comfortable in a system. So if you're changing systems a lot, it's harder for a basketball player to get into that system and really grow.
Although he has high expectations, Coach Van Pelt still wants his guys to have fun.
We want to try to create experiences that help our guys build lifelong relationships and just also have a connection to Messiah. What we did yesterday with the wrestling team, I think is really, really important to get our guys outside of just our program and seeing the whole athletic department as a whole and just the value that they can bring to the athletic department, but also what being a part of something bigger than just themselves can be. It can be a really special thing.
Make sure to head out to Hitchcock Arena sometime to watch the men's basketball team take the court. For YBTV, I'm Caleb Kukin.
The basketball team had fun playing dodgeball, but their season is officially underway, and some of its highlights will be in our Falcon 4, where we highlight 4 of our top plays in Messiah sports this past week.
While the women's teams were out in different parts of the country fighting for national championships, the men's team stayed home, which is where we'll be getting our highlights tonight. First, we go to Hitchcock Arena, where the Falcons took on Penn State Abington in the tip-off tournament. Messiah down 4 with just under 20 seconds left, and here's Coletti pushing the ball up, and he dishes it to Lyles in the corner. Lyles drills it with the foul. A 4-point play opportunity for Lyles here. Here's the replay Good work by Coletti to find Lyles open in the corner, and defender did not give Lyles a clear landing spot, making that a foul. Here's Lyles at the line to tie up the game, and he makes it. That extends that game into overtime. And if you think that shot was crazy, wait until my next highlight from that same game.
That was definitely a ridiculous shot, Caleb. But now we will go to a men's soccer. As we mentioned before, their tournament run was ended yesterday, but this highlight comes from their 4-1 win over Franciscan in the round 1 of the NCAA tournament. On the attacking end with the one-touch pass over to Cole Christian, and Christian with just one-on-one with the defender and jukes the goalie but makes the goal. Nice little one-touch or juke in the goalie there. Let's see it again. Fakes right, goes left, and taps it right in. Nobody else is there. The goal was Christian's 9th goal of the year, which capped off the great senior season for the Falcons.
Now back to basketball, where the Falcons are still battling the Nittany Lions in overtime of the tip-off tournament. In the second overtime, Messiah is trailing by 2 with 45 seconds left. Here's Dylan Caparis working in the low block, makes a couple fakes, and then finds Coletti. And Coletti drills the go-ahead 3, giving the Falcons a 1-0 lead. Here it is again. Defender's back was turned, giving Coletti the clean shot, giving the Falcons a dramatic overtime win. The Falcons went on to face the Catholic University Cardinals in the tip-off championship game, where they struggled to find a rhythm and lost the game 42-60.
For our final highlight of the day, we head back to Messiah versus Franciscan because of the second half we had an unusual goal. Here we see the Falcons are pressuring the Franciscan defense and a pass back, but McDonald fighting for the ball and beats the goalie to it, bangs the ball back into the back of the net, taking the score 4-1. Let's look at that again. McDonald beating the goalie, calling Shoemaker Field his home. And that goal capped off an incredible season for Matt McDonald, as he was unstoppable for the season, scoring 23 goals while also dishing out 6 assists.
Wow. That's a lot of goals. And that's all we have for this week's Falcon 4 and YBTV Sports. Best of luck to the Messiah women's soccer team, as well as Logan Horst and Andrew Hutchinson.
But don't go anywhere, because right after the break is YB Tonight, right here on YBTV.
Hi, my name is Sydney White. I'm interning at the Penn State College of Medicine in a neuroscience lab, where we look at understanding the brain through stress, diet, and drug use in mouse models. Come see my presentation at the Career and Community Showcase.
So people ask me what kind of companies hire electrical and computer engineers. Basically, if you plug it in or it has a battery in it, electrical engineers were involved. Every Messiah engineering student is guaranteed an internship with an on-campus organization called the Collaboratory. The Collaboratory's business model is that it pairs student teams with either faculty mentors or outside professionals to work on systems that either care for the earth or help disadvantaged people around the world. One of our more successful projects is a project that involves facilitating use of limited electric power called EMMS.
So I am the student project manager of the MMS team. And so what that means is that I head up a team of students and industry volunteers who are developing a system that makes it possible for schools and medical clinics to be able to efficiently share their limited solar power resources. Just the faculty and the way that they interact with the students to help them grow is such a powerful thing.
So people ask me what kind of companies hire electrical and computer engineers. Basically, if you plug it in or it has a battery in it, electrical engineers were involved. Every Messiah engineering student is guaranteed an internship with an on-campus organization called the Collaboratory. The Collaboratory's business model is that it pairs student teams with either faculty mentors or outside professionals to work on systems that either care for the earth or help disadvantaged people around the world. One of our more successful projects is a project that involves facilitating use of limited electric power called EMMS.
So I am the student project manager of the MMS team, and so what that means is that I head up a team of students and industry volunteers who are developing a system that makes it possible for schools and medical clinics to be able to efficiently share their limited solar power resources. Just the faculty and the way that they interact with the students to help them grow is such a powerful thing.
Hi there, my name is Luke Britcher. My internship this semester is at Dublin Gap Center, which is a Christian retreat center. And so I'm there most weekends helping with any programmatic needs that whatever group is using Retreat Center might have. Come and see my presentation at the Career and Community Showcase.
I grew up creative, always drawing, Legos, played a ton of Legos from the time I could start putting them together. When I got into school, I thought I was going to be a painter, and then I thought I was going to be a graphic designer, but it wasn't until I took my first foundations of art class, 3D design, where I was carving a salt block, just a little carpenter chisel, and I stuck it underneath the water, and it kind of started deteriorating, and I loved it, and it felt comfortable and it felt right, and that's when I realized that 3D is where I belong. Sculpture is what I needed to pursue. If you feel that passion in your belly, if you wake up and you got to make something, if you grab a paper clip and you manipulate it into some form, or you're doodling in your sketchbook, or everything you do you see through a more creative side, then listen to that spirit talking in you and follow it. And for that young artist, it's hard and it's difficult, but you got to just keep on doing it. You got to just keep on doing it. We were all there. We want to hang out with you. We want you to look over our shoulder and watch us cut this piece. Ask us that question. Don't be scared. Everybody has that starting point.
Good evening and welcome to YB Tonight Live. I'm your host, Josh McCleaf, and tonight I will be given a dance lesson by Natalie Taylor. She'll be giving me a little lesson in musical theater, and after that we'll be sitting down with Nick Hamman to talk about the ultimate Frisbee team. But we are going to go ahead and get started with that dance lesson right now. Natalie, I've already stretched. I've already done everything I need to do to warm up. I've worn stretchy pants. I think that we are going to go ahead and try to do this here. So we're going to get our music prepped, but anything I need to know before we get started?
So what I'm going to teach you is a musical theater song, and musical theater is all about expression and facial expressions.
You are right, yes.
Does not matter how much you mess up, as long as you got a smile on your face, people are just going to tell you're having fun.
Okay,
so, yeah.
awesome.
All right, so you ready to get started?
I am, yes.
All right, cool. So we're gonna start off with just a basic slide to the right, and you're gonna push your arms out, and then you're gonna do a little kick, and then another kick.
Okay, another
yeah.
kick, gotcha. And what are we dancing to, by the way?
Oh, Friend Like Me from Aladdin.
Friend Like Me from Aladdin.
This was a song I choreographed to for our fall show that was just this past weekend.
Okay,
so yeah,
awesome.
Learned I'm repping. So yeah.
Yes, I should have worn blue to.
I was about to say, it's okay.
That's on
It's
me.
method acting.
Yeah, so we'll walk me back through that again.
Okay. So you're gonna push to the right.
Okay.
And then you're gonna kick with your right foot.
Okay.
And then your left foot. And as you kick, if you want to add a little flair to it, you can put your arms out like that, and then that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you'll do that, and then you'll do it again. So you're gonna go to the right one more time, and then you're gonna kick, and then kick again.
Okay.
Next, we're gonna do something called a chaîné turn.
A chaîné turn.
Yeah, or if you want to do not the ballet version of the name, it's called a 3-step turn.
Okay.
You're just gonna turn over your left shoulder, and basically you're gonna do a 1, 2, and then 3, and you're gonna land. Yep, pretty close. So you're gonna try and travel to your left as much as you can.
Okay.
So it's kind of just like stepping over yourself to here. Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
perfect. Look at you, you already got it down.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so after you do that last slide, you're gonna kick, and then kick again, and then you're gonna do that 3-step turn to the left. Perfect. So we can put that all together if you want.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
So we have slide, kick, kick, slide again, kick, kick, and then the 3-step turn. Perfect.
Little. Oh, okay,
and then
so
you're gonna kick again.
Okay,
Kick to
gotcha.
the right, and then kick to the left. Yeah, you're doing pretty good.
Thank
you. can see the genie in you a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, just a little
Well,
bit.
Fill me in a lamp then, I guess.
All right, do you want to do it one more time?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna slide to the right, and then kick with your right foot, kick with your left foot. Do it again. Slide to the right, kick with right foot, left foot, and then turn over your left shoulder. Yep, and then you're gonna kick with your right, and kick with your left. And yep.
Okay.
You were pretty
mixed up
close.
a little bit, but yeah. I think, you know, when we get the music going and stuff, it'll be a little bit
You
more.
will really feel yourself, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sounds good.
So after we do those kicks, you just finished this. You're gonna do a little jazz hand, and then another jazz hand.
Another jazz hand.
And then you're gonna come to the middle and do a little genie
nice.
arms.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool.
And jazz hands are a big staple of musical theater. You can never forget about a jazz hand moment.
You're right.
So
Yeah, especially in a song like Friend Like Me, I feel like that's just an absolute necessary element
It really
to that
is.
character.
So you'll do your kick, kick, and then jazz hand, genie. Yeah, look at you go. Do you want to put that all together?
Yeah, we'll go through that real
Okay,
quick.
cool.
So
we'll have slide, kick, kick, slide, kick, kick, and then turn over, turn, kick, kick, jazz hand, genie. Look at you go.
yeah, not super smooth, but you know, I think
You
I've
know
got
what?
the
Like I
general
said
gist.
before, it's all about having fun. So.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So next we're gonna do something that is also a big staple to musical theater. It's called a jazz square.
Oh.
If you go see any Broadway show, I can guarantee you they're gonna have this somewhere in
Okay.
their
I actually just saw
auditorium.
Aladdin on Broadway this past May.
No
so
way.
Yes, I did.
So
yeah.
you really know
Yeah,
what you're
so
doing.
I mean, I'm practically an expert already, but.
So this, basically, what you're gonna do, it gets a little tricky with the feet, not gonna lie, but you're gonna cross over your left foot, yep, and then you're gonna step back on your right, and then meet in the middle here, and then you're gonna cross your right foot over, and then you're gonna cross your left again,
Jeez.
for right,
That's.
and then to the middle.
Okay.
Yep.
You're gonna have to walk me through them one more time for
Okay.
sure, but.
So you'll have right, left, right, left, right, left, right, middle. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so do
Alright, so
and you jazz square. And then when you end here, you're just gonna scoop your arms in and out.
Out.
Yep. So it's kind of like you're scooping ice cream and then you're showing it to everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, in and out.
In, out.
Yep.
Got it.
And then you're going to jump and kind of like point at yourself.
Okay.
And you're gonna show your sleeves because at this point he says, Master, you're in luck because up your sleeves.
Okay.
And after here, I promise this is the last move.
Okay.
We're gonna hit with the right arm, hit again, and then I'll back away because we're gonna push it out.
Okay.
And that's the whole
I'll
dance.
try not to hit you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Sounds
okay.
good. Alrighty. So that's everything. Are we ready to give it a shot with the music?
I'm ready.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll wait a minute here. All right. 3, 2.
Okay, we'll have jazz square, jazz square, jazz square, jazz square. right, you're gonna go in, up your sleeve, you're gonna hit, out. And then we'll do our slide, kick, slide, kick, and then turn, kick. Good job,
Okay,
that was pretty
sounds
good, yeah.
To start.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Slide, kick, slide, kick, turn. You're gonna kick, and then jazz, hands, center. Yeah. And left, right, in your sleeves. And then you're gonna hit, out. You did really good actually for learning it in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, for like a quick on the spot thing. That it didn't feel too bad, and I feel I
really think you have a future in musical theater. Honestly.
You heard it here. You heard it here. Future musical theater. So. I think that's all we have for this segment, but we're going to talk with Natalie a little bit more about her experience with dance when we come back right after a short break. So don't go anywhere. Keep it right here on YBTV.
Hi, my name is Sydney White. I'm interning at the Penn State College of Medicine in a neuroscience lab where we look at understanding the brain through stress, diet, and drug use in mouse models. Come see my presentation at the Career and Community Showcase.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Josh McCleaf here with Natalie Taylor. Natalie, you doing okay tonight? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, a little tired from our showcase, but you know what? I'm doing pretty well, yeah.
That's great to hear. So, obviously you've got experience with dance. Can you tell me a little bit about where your journey with dance started?
So when I was probably about 5 years old, my mom signed me up for ballet classes, and I did ballet up until 8th grade and decided I hated ballet, so I quit. And then there was a woman at my church named Frances who asked if I wanted to be part of her new studio, and so then I joined the new studio, and basically it's been history since then, so yeah.
Awesome. So what's like your most favorite early memory of dance?
Ooh, so there was a little like gym for kids that was my first studio that I went to, and I remember I used to be like front and center doing the ballet routines because obviously I had to have the attention on me, so yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned to me earlier before we came back from the break that you actually teach some dance classes. Can you just give the audience a little bit of a fill-in as to what kind of classes you teach before I proceed with these other questions?
Yeah, so I teach a musical theater class through Acclamation Dance Ministry, and then I also co-teach a contemporary class with my roommate, so they're both two very different styles of dancing, but they're both really fun, and every semester I come up with a choreographed dance that we eventually get to perform at the end of the semester.
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. So you teach classes, you have the experience, the years. What, in your professional opinion, does it take to be a good dancer?
Literally just the ability to have fun with it. You do not need to have like any certain skill to be a dancer. As long as you're there to learn and just have fun, anyone can be a dancer as long as you're just willing to try and learn new things.
Okay, awesome. So how did you get into teaching dance exactly? Where did that start for you?
So it was kind of weird. I'm currently an education major, so I always have liked teaching, but I've always had a little insecurity with dancing until Mackenzie Williams, who was part of the graduating 2022 class, asked if I wanted to take over Acclamation Dance Ministry and teach classes. And my first semester was definitely a learning experience, but now I feel like I'm very comfortable in my role with teaching dance.
Right. So when you teach dance, what are some of the techniques that you use to make sure that the class really gets it, that they understand the movements, the steps? What does that process look like for you?
So definitely I try to keep high energy because I think sometimes the class can always feed off of a teacher's energy, whether it's dance or just a regular education classroom. And I definitely try to pre-plan my lessons before I go in and teach to make sure that it is in a good bit of chunks that is easy for the class to understand and better to retain for their muscle memory.
Okay, awesome. So when you're kind of mapping out a dance or a choreography, where does that inspiration come from for you? What do you turn to kind of figure out what that's going to look like?
That's actually a really good question because I really struggled with this past dance that we just did of where I was going to turn to. Usually though I did theater in high school, so sometimes I will take inspiration from those and be like, oh, I remember this one move we did in this musical, and so I wouldn't call it stealing, but I'm borrowing choreography. But most of the time, I just kind of go wherever I think is fun. Like sometimes if I want to do like a little jazz hand moment, I'll do it because I think it's really fun, and that's really what musical theater is supposed to be.
Right, yeah. So what exactly makes a dance meaningful to you?
Oh gosh, honestly, what makes it meaningful to me is seeing that my students are doing it and having fun with it, because choreographing is fun, and like knowing that I created that dance is also very fun. But I just think that seeing the students having fun and I had a bunch of people come up to me and say that musical theater was their favorite part of this semester, and that just like warms my heart knowing that I'm able to make that impact just because I decided to do a silly dance to Friend Like Me.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. So like obviously you chose Friend Like Me. How do you choose what song you're going to choreograph a dance to?
So acclamation is a ministry, so we always, whenever we're going through our themes, me and my roommate Sammy, who's our head choreographer, meet with our prayer chaplain to come up with our theme. And our theme this year was Be Still, based off the verse Psalm 116:7, which is, return to your rest, my soul, for the Lord has been good to you. And I was like, well, the Lord has been good to us, and we're never going to have a friend like God. Right. And then eventually I came up with that. But every semester, since we have a different verse, I usually try to find a song that cater towards that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's a really great process. Well, Natalie, thank you so much for joining us tonight. After the break, we'll learn more about the ultimate Frisbee team at Messiah. Don't go away, but before we go to break, jazz hands one more time. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
There we go. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Sydney White. I'm interning at the Penn State College of Medicine in a neuroscience lab where we look at understanding the brain through stress, diet, and drug use in mouse models. Come see my presentation at the Career and Community Showcase.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Josh McCleaf. I'm joined by Nick Hamman, captain of the Ultimate Frisbee team. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm sitting here with you. I just had a great dance lesson. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you looked like you enjoyed it.
Thank you. So, moving on to Ultimate Frisbee. What goes on with the team of the Ultimate Frisbee? Like, what do you guys do? What's the whole purpose?
Yeah, so we practice like twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday in the evenings, and we'll have tournaments about like 4 or 5 a semester, and so we go off and we play other schools, and it's a growing sport, so there's college ultimate, there's stuff in the summer, and there's even like a professional league.
Okay, so what are some of the other schools you play, just for reference?
Grove City, Shippensburg, we've played the Navy, we've played Scranton.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah. All over the place.
Yeah.
Cool. So you are the team captain. What are your responsibilities as the team captain? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I'm one of three, just so that that's on the record. But primarily what I'm doing is keeping kind of morale, keeping us focused at practices and stuff like that. We do have a coach, so I'm not like organizing the mandatory practices, but for Saturday morning practices, I typically plan those with my captains, or one of them does, and we lead that. So that's a lot of it.
Gotcha. So what kind of experience is required to join the Ultimate Frisbee team?
Honestly, like none. It's helpful to, you know, either have played disc golf or toss the disc as a kid, or maybe church pickup, but we've had people who can barely throw the disc rise up and become really good players.
Awesome. So when you have like people from all kinds of experiences coming together, what does the community on the team look like?
Yeah, the community it's such a mix of people. Like we have like all sorts of majors and stuff like that. So I think that primarily we're probably together for the sport, but we're good friends. We see each other outside of class, pass each other kind of stuff, and we'll get together and play games. And obviously tournaments are a very concentrated time of team bonding. So it's a good group. A lot of people, their closest friends are at the team too. So.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you guys have coming up in the near future, like games, tournaments, whatever?
So this season's what I would call our build season, where we focus more on the rookies to get better, but the spring's our competitive season, and we're honestly trying to shoot for nationals, which would be huge for us.
Definitely.
We've gotten to regionals several times. We've won conferences, which is like the lower level, and then gotten to regionals, but we haven't yet gotten to nationals, so that would be our hope.
That would be pretty awesome, honestly.
Yeah.
Definitely bragging rights there. So what has your most memorable experience on the team been?
I gotta say, probably a lot of the stuff would be all the fun we have like in between at tournaments. So like you play for concentrated time, like several hours in a day, and then you just kind of hang out. But something that comes to mind right now that was pretty fun is when it rains, we'll have layout practices, which is where you like you dive and you hit the ground catching the disc.
Right.
And we've gone to upper baseball and laid out down that hill.
Oh man,
so that's pretty memorable.
That I would say that's definitely
Yeah.
pretty memorable. So obviously trying to make it to nationals. You mentioned that earlier for the team. What are some of the other hopes you have for the group?
Other hopes. Probably just to make sure that we build up newer players and making sure that we leave like a good legacy behind. We have, during this winter time, we go and play with different organizations around. So I don't know if I have a lot more aspirations other than just to have a really good time and build community and get more people interested in it. So.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about. So
Yeah.
if people want to join that community, when and where do you guys normally meet?
Yeah, so in the beginning of the semesters is always the best time to get to know about us so that we can bring you up to speed, especially in the fall. But Tuesdays and Thursdays, we practice primarily 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Lax Turf. But yeah, if you ever see me around campus, you know, ask me about it. I can get you hooked up with information. So
Absolutely, yeah. So this is going to be your opportunity to do a bit of a sales pitch. Why should someone consider joining the team?
As a guy who likes to run, it's a good excuse to go running because I think most people don't. So it's good exercise. You'll meet some of your closest friends. One of the guys who's going to be in my wedding party is on the team. And yeah, it's probably those things like fun, community, and exercise. So.
Right, yeah, so kind of bouncing off of the community part. This is more of a personal question. What does it look like to juggle your major as in electrical engineering and also your social life?
It's pretty flexible. Like I think Ultimate is not a huge commitment. The weekends when we do have a tournament, which is 4 or 5, is a pretty big time commitment. And we've traveled as far as North Carolina, which was like 8.5-hour drive. So you just have to be on top of your homework when that time comes. But I've never had a struggle with being behind on assignments just because when tournaments come up, I just get ahead on homework.
That's definitely a good approach to take. So how do you feel Ultimate Frisbee has impacted your time at Messiah?
It's been really good. I think personally it's affected a lot of like how I spend my time in terms of like trying to get better and become the best player I can be. It's kind of bled into back home where I didn't have a lot of opportunities there, so I went and started a pickup group back home. Okay. So it's become a very big part of my life, and my dad and I get to go and play with a bunch of our other friends back home, which is cool. So
that's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like it's definitely been a big impact on your life. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us tonight. The Ultimate Frisbee team sounds like a lot of fun. That's it for this week's episode of YB Tonight. Thanks for watching YBTV, and tune in next Monday at 7 for more. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. Have a great rest of your night, Messiah University. We'll see you then.